There's a crazy stat that shows that Kaiden Guhle has a faster top speed than Connor McDavid. We'll be talking a bit about that, plus Montreal tops the NHL attendance numbers despite a very mediocre season, and we'll be getting into all that on this edition of Habs Digest. Hello, bonjour, ahoy, and welcome to today's news edition of Habs Digest. I'm your host, Josh Gosse, alongside my co-host, Jesse Poirier, and now that we're in the off-season, we're still trying to grind for that 5,000 subscribers. We have all the latest Habs news, rumors, updates here on this channel, so if you haven't hit subscribe yet, do it now. You won't regret it. Number one, Jesse, let's get into it. It's what the title's talking about. It's kind of a shocking, mind-blowing stat. Kaiden Guhle's faster than Connor McDavid? Okay, let's calm down a little bit here. I don't think anyone in their right mind is saying that Guhle is a better skater or is faster than McDavid, but the NHL released their top 10 maximum top speeds this year, and topping the list is former Hab Ryan Poehling, who we traded to get Mike Matheson along with Jeff Petrie. But if you look there, number 4, Kaiden Guhle with a top speed of 24.2 miles per hour. Look at the other people on this list. Forward, Athanasiou, forward, McDavid, Dickinson, McKinnon, all guys noted for speed. But Kaiden Guhle stands out among all of them. The rookie defenseman for Montreal is one of the fastest skaters in the NHL. What kind of, and he's faster than any McDavid's top speeds. What was your reaction when you saw this? Because I'm just I'm starting to wonder if there's an error in their data or something.
Right, seriously, no, it's true. But the fact that he's not only done this once but twice, it shows it wasn't just like a fluke, kind of one game where he was really just catching his stride. But where he's done this a couple times this year, which for me is amazing. And I love seeing the statistics, and I believe it's important because having a mobile defenseman and more of them is exactly what the Montreal Canadiens need. Mm-hmm. We know we want to get a little bit more offense, from our defensemen. So I think, having a defenseman that can do this, that's capable of that, is just going to be so important for this next season.
And, we already have someone, like I just mentioned, Mike Matheson, a very fast, good skater. But, Jesse, I think that Matheson can almost use his expertise to help Guhle out on this front, because if he's reaching these kind of top speeds, because when you're watching the game, I don't think that Guhle necessarily stands out as a guy who can blow past you, but he's, like you said, he's shown moments this year where he really just goes end to end and he creates chances. So to be able to reach this kind of top speed already in the NHL is huge. And let's just take a look at his stats. 18 points in 44 games and a bit of an injury-riddled season. But Jesse, we knew, even early in the year, before Matheson started getting into his groove, Kaiden Guhle, we were all saying, was probably the Habs' best defenseman. So to me, for his defensive acumen, his offensive ability, to add this speed to it, that is just going to be so valuable moving forward.
It is, because we're going to have a really solid 1-2 punch. Even though Matheson and Guhle, they won't be playing as a pairing, just to have that speed, from our defensemen is just going to be so huge, because we know now in the NHL that so much offense is coming from defensemen jumping into the play, knowing when to create those odd man rushes, those 2-on-1, so to speak, that the Montreal Canadiens, really their whole year has been focusing in a large part on improving on those opportunities, knowing when to jump into the play and then also when to sit back. So having that added mobility, that speed just makes it that much easier for him to jump into the play when needed and also to get back when needed as well. So this is going to be really important for us going forward in the future. And it's one of the most important things for our team. So I'm so happy about that.
Yeah, and we've been talking all season about how Marty St. Louis and the Habs they thrive when they're running a fast offensive system. So just a really cool stat to see. Kind of unexpected, but when you look at Kaiden Guhle play, I suppose it's not surprising he's hit peak speeds like that. So really, really cool. But we'll move on to topic number 2 right now, which is that the Habs are number 1 in the league attendance, which is a bit surprising. Not necessarily because of, it's not surprising, Montreal the fans never show up. No, obviously not. But what is surprising is that Montreal was a bottom 5 team this year, Jesse. And last year they weren't very good either. But it just shows that the team's marketing, the change in management specifically, I think, has created this aura of positivity and optimism around the franchise. As we take a look, Rick Westhead says the Senators, Canadiens, and Flames are the biggest gainers in regular season attendance, Montreal being at the top with 21,000 plus a game in league attendance, as overall the attendance in the league is up 8%. Jesse, how much of a role do you think that the young guys and even the management change is playing in the Habs going back, jumping 36% above last year's attendance to be number 1 in the league again?
It's a good point, Josh. I think there's several factors that do play into this. One of them being the on-ice product, but also just that added transparency that we've seen, with the team, even with the media and the fans, and it's making players more available to the public. You're right, Josh, that I think all of these things just leads to our culture being a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And, kind of has the result of fans coming out and wanting to see the team play. So I think it's amazing. And I think it also shows that even though we didn't have, a winning season this year, that we were competitive, that we were staying in these games, because they wouldn't have been coming out night after night if we were just getting walked all over. And, we saw that from covering the games this year, that, they were in them, even though that maybe they weren't coming out on the winning side the majority of the time, that they were competing. And just seeing, I think they're really responding to Martin St. Louis as a head coach, a lot of our young players, even, French Quebec players as well. So all those factors leading to just a really good vibe around the team. So this is really nice to see that they're getting this type of support.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, being there this year to see a game, they got walloped by the Avalanche 8-4, but even in a game like that, every time they scored, the building went nuts, and I felt like my ears were going to start ringing. Montreal fans show up in droves, they're well educated, they know what's going on the ice, and people want something to cheer for. As we take a look at the sort of statistic there, I've highlighted Montreal. They're the only team above 20K average attendance. Pretty much one of the only teams above 19K. I think the only other teams to break 19 are the Hurricanes and the Lightning. But Montreal, the fans know what they want, right? They want a team to cheer for, a young team to cheer for. They want success in the future, but they don't care if they have to lose now to get it, really. Like I said, Jesse, when I was there, the optimism around everyone was just excited to go to a game. They want to see the players score. The half the team was an AHL roster, but every single time certain guys touched the puck and the puck went in the net, it was just screams. I mean, it was the atmosphere around the team, I think, is changing. Right, in the past, maybe Montreal fans boo when the team is losing a lot, but they see the future. It's right in front of us, so many young guys, and I really think that's played a huge role in this attendance jump. It's almost like a predictor of what might happen next season, and I also think, Jesse, that last year was a bit of a down year, because you go to the Cup Finals, and then the next year you go from number 2 in the league to number 32, the first ever 32nd place team, so I think a lot of fans were maybe a bit down on that, like, oh, we want to see wins, really, we're this, but now this year it's like, there's a newfound optimism. We know they're not going to be great, but a couple of years from now, I think they might be able to show out.
Absolutely, and it'll all be worth it in the long run, so I like that the Montreal Canadiens, that we're just sticking through our team, through thick and thin, and it's definitely going to be worth it in the long run, because we're really building a winner, we're building it the right way. And we need that support from the fans as well. The team definitely needs that. So, just tremendous to see that that we're doing so great in that regard.
Support from the fans drives the players to play better, right? When the fans are cheering you on, the guys on the ice, that home ice advantage is a real thing. So it's awesome to see this year. Can't imagine what it's going to look like when the Habs are back in the playoff picture. Super exciting prospect. But that'll do it for this news edition of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 5,000 subs. We just crossed 4,700. Thank you so much for those of you who have subscribed over the last few days and weeks. And we hope there's a lot more of you who haven't hit that button yet. I'm Josh Gosse for my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.